And we're delighted to have a great turnout. And we attribute, of course, to the interest that all of you have in world affairs, but also to our honorees, Per Larsson, who's the CEO of Bourse Dubai, who's going to receive the Global Finance Leaders Award. Yes, let's give applause to Per. And Frances Aldrich Sevilla Sacasa, who's going to receive the Corporate Social Responsibility Award, and she is the president of U.S. Trust of America Private Wealth Management. And I'm delighted to see here a very special person who's our honorary chair of the Foreign Policy Association, John Whitehead, who has given years of public service as an investment banker and all the eleemosynary things that he has done since he left as Deputy Secretary of State. Let's give our honorary chairman a hand. And we are most grateful to our chairs and co-chairs of the dinner committee for making this evening such a success. Indeed, the Foreign Policy Association's success over its long history can be attributed to, of course, its board of directors and its staff. It was founded after World War II to help President Woodrow Wilson maintain the peace. And it has a passion for its mission, which has always been a characteristic of the Foreign Policy Association, and its mission of educating the American public and getting them involved in the affairs of the world. You know, we Americans can say this, that we are a very parochial people, and sometimes we forget that's a dangerous world out there. We forgot after World War I, unfortunately, even though the Foreign Policy Association, Woodrow Wilson, we tried their best. And we forgot after the end of the Cold War, when we enjoyed the 90s, that decade that David Brooks in his New York Times called that deceptive decade, when, as Frank Fukuyama in his book, The End of History, Last Man, there'd be no more heroes because liberal democracy was going to sweep the world. And then 9/11 happened. And here in New York, we woke up, the United States woke up, and the world woke up. And as we look around the world now, we see in Russia, where we thought is Yeltsin and democracy and free economy, we now see a very authoritarian government strangling democracy at home and bullying its neighbors in what they call the near abroad. We look in the Mideast and we see American soldiers fighting and dying in two separate countries. We look to our south, to Latin America, and we see Castroite socialism spreading through Chavez in Venezuela, to Ecuador, to Bolivia, and coming that close to succeeding in electing a Castroite kind of socialist in Mexico right on our doorstep. We look to Asia and we see the growing economic power of China. When it emerges on the world stage, is it going to be the problems that created when Japan and Germany emerged on the world stage? They are creating a blue water navy. For what purpose? What about weapons of mass destruction and their spread, the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, possibilities of not just a nuclear attack, but dirty bombs and things like that. This is a very dangerous world. And in this dangerous world, the mission of the Foreign Policy Association is more important than ever. As Walter Cronkite observed, speaking to the Foreign Policy Association years ago, he said, in foreign policy lies the future. So I'd like to now have you turn your eyes to the screens here where we're going to have a videotape about the history and the mission of the Foreign Policy Association.
The Great War was ending. Much of the world was cheering for America. The world was forever changed, but how to be certain it would be changed for the good? Paul Kellogg gathered the best and the brightest of the times in New York, a Nobel Prize winner, a Pulitzer Prize winner, leaders in academia. They were scholars and journalists. Their goal, to somehow be a force for developing awareness, understanding, and informed opinion on U.S. foreign policy and global issues. They had, in effect, created what would become an enduring global town hall. So, naturally, each meeting focused on chaos, crisis, and conflict. What to do about it? how to avoid it. In 1943, Franklin Delano Roosevelt recognized the FPA's achievements. He wrote, "The Foreign Policy Association is performing a high duty and facilitating the lucid presentation of the facts of world problems and their impact on the United States." 12 years later, in 1954, the FPA created what would become its signature accomplishment, the renowned Great Decisions Program. Each year, the group frames the most critical foreign policy questions facing America and the world in the coming year. Some of the FPA's Great Decisions questions: 1960, divided Europe, cooperation or crisis?
As a free man, I take pride in the words, Ich bin ein Berliner.
1964, Castro's Cuba challenged the Americans.
Con estas instalaciones también de distintas formas nosotros teníamos.
1967, Vietnam, what price peace? 1980, Eastern Europe, emerging from Moscow's shadow.
There is one sign the Soviets can make that would be unmistakable. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Through lecture series, radio and television, and educational programs, the FPA focuses debate on the challenge of global neighbors in times of transition. Good evening once again from the west side of the Berlin Wall. Over the years, the FPA has attracted world leaders to engage its forums. Kissinger, Reagan, Boutros Ghali, Carter, Albright, Clinton. We now live in an era when the global and cultural transitions come ever faster. In space, old foes are now partners. In cyberspace, no walls, no passports, no barriers. We are all virtual partners, and we must together construct a kind of world culture. Which, of course, for the FPA, brings us back to the future. Starting in 1918, with a group of concerned journalists, you now find yourselves concerned about journalists, asking the question, today's media, what voice in foreign policy?
And that is the history and the mission of the Foreign Policy Association. After dinner, we'll present the awards, and until then, enjoy your dinner. Frank Wisner is the Vice Chairman of American International Group, and he's also currently the Special Representative of the Secretary of State to the Kosovo status talks. He is a career diplomat with the personal rank of career ambassador, and he previously served as ambassador to India, to Egypt, to the Philippines. I could keep going on and on and on. And I would get myself in trouble if I said this, so instead I will quote John Whitehead, who said he is perhaps America's greatest ambassador. Frank?
Ed Cox, that's enormously generous. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted this evening to be part of this very special celebration. Noel Lateef, thank you for including me, and particularly for the privilege of being able to sit with my old boss, John Whitehead. A real treat to be asked to present to you this evening Per Larsson, and to make certain that he leaves here with the award that he's so carefully earned. I won't try to introduce Per Larsson extraordinary biography. I think it's available to everybody in written form, and I'll leave you to read it. A man with an extraordinary history in Swedish business who's moved to make a name for himself and finance in Dubai. Nor will I dwell at any length at all on the recent and spectacular achievement, the fusion of the three great exchanges, American, Swedish, and Dubai. It is a welcome development for all of us who believe in global trade, criticized, I understand, only by Sweden's equivalents of our own anti-globalists and such who decry the benefits of international trade and free financial exchange, the Lou Dobbses of Sweden. But for all of you who know the region in which Per is now involved, Dubai, it is an enormously exciting experience. It is what people like myself, who have spent the last near half-century in that region, always dreamed would be possible. A possibility of seeing the great civilization, cleverness, inventiveness of the Arab world mixed with modern free enterprise in an open and dynamic commercial setting, what it could achieve. And I can only hearken to all of you who have not seen the experience of Dubai and realized its potential its examples potential to change the world of the Middle East, a change we all so desperately want. But I can tell you that Dubai today is iconic of what lies in the future. For the region itself will, for years to come, benefit from extraordinary flows of capital. Unlike past times in its history, Dubai, and the other Dubais still to be built, will be able to invest and invest wisely. No longer the excesses of previous oil booms with excessive personal consumption or exaggerated military acquisitions. Representing, as Dubai does today, a new business class, young Arabs who many trained in this country have gone back with a knowledge of markets and how to acquire real assets, and a capacity to manage the very considerable political risks of the region. Per, you have taken upon yourself a terrific task to bring front and center Dubai's promise for that region, for the rest of the world. And for this, all of us have gathered together this evening to honor you. And I'd like to ask you if you would come up and let me present to you the Foreign Policies Association's award for Global Financial Leadership. Per, there is a citation that goes with the award, and it reads as follows. Per Larsson demonstrates that globalization is not only inevitable, but it is a reality. By linking up Bourse Dubai, OMX, and NASDAQ, Per is realizing his vision of opening up capital markets to the vast populations of the Asian subcontinent, the Middle East, and Africa. The Foreign Policy Association is pleased to present Per Larsson with the Global Finance Leader Award. Per, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're very careful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a very unique opportunity and a great honor to be here tonight.
To begin, allow me to quote a great entrepreneur, a visionary man, and a great American, Henry Ford. He said, "If there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own." When Bourse Dubai made its initial bid for OMX, motivated by its global outlook and investment strategy, a counteroffer was expected from Nasdaq. In its early stages, the transaction was just another M&A transaction, well covered and with significant media attention, but still just another M&A transaction. At some point, however, the rival bidders transformed the scene into a unique, complex, and absolutely innovative deal of historic proportions. The mutation was achieved due to the nature and philosophy of management across all entities involved. All were focused on the future, a crucial perspective that makes anything possible. Dubai is a global player, and thanks to the vision and leadership of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who is the Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, Dubai is also a sharp and wise player. Dubai have achieved its current level of success because it has fostered tolerance and openness. Bourse Dubai is no different. It is never about a zero-sum game, and it's very forward-looking manner. Dubai sought a win-win-win solution, which led us to facilitate and create the world's largest network of exchanges. The Bourse Dubai Nasdaq OMX Group will be a leading global exchange network with an average trading volume of 6.5 million trades, representing a value of approximately $65 billion US, with more than 4,000 listed companies from more than 40 countries and an aggregate market capitalization of around $5.6 trillion US. While all this is true and exciting for all parties involved, I believe there is more to this transaction than the business, corporate, financial, and economic implications. Indeed, Bourse Dubai, Nasdaq, and OMX transaction brought together 3 continents, acting as a civilizational bridge representing a unique example of cooperation and harmony. The challenge facing us all today is to implement and drive these new developments into the bright future that has been the underlying motivation from the first day. We are ready and focused on the road ahead, well aware that the infrastructural, technological, culture, financial, and operational challenges offer this group a unique opportunity to impact the future evolution of the industry, to grow into an innovative player and act as a catalyst for change. There are 2 basic principles that underpin the exchange world, that is openness and fairness. The very idea of a market where individuals and institutions trade with each other requires an open architecture, a welcoming philosophy, and accepting culture. Exchanges provide access. They bring people together and invite them to trade safely with each other. Fairness is a key principle, as all players, whether connected directly or indirectly, are encouraged to participate only when there is a uniform and transparent set of rules, where respect for the rules and other players is as fundamental, non-negotiable principle. Indeed, it is central to the very success of the open forum that is the market. As you might be aware, I've spent almost my whole professional career in the exchange industry. Many years ago, when I was still a university student, a Swedish entrepreneur by the name of Olof Stenhammar announced plans to create an options market in Sweden. I was so fascinated by the idea that I decided to write a paper on options. One thing led to the other, and by 1985, I was part of the original team creating OMX. I took over as the CEO when my mentor Olof became chairman in 1996 and stayed on as the CEO until 2003. During the initial period of the venture, the monopoly given to the Stockholm Stock Exchange, which was later bought by OMX in 1998, prevented us from running an exchange. We received a license to run a regulated stock brokerage company and not an exchange. However, exploiting a loophole in the law governing the Stockholm Stock Exchange, we managed to mirror an exchange in all practical aspects. We argued against the legal monopoly granted to the Stockholm Stock Exchange, and the monopoly was finally abolished in 1989 when we received a license to run an exchange. Up until 1989, we were constantly subject to criticism by the Stockholm Stock Exchange and various groups for not being fit and proper to run an exchange. Primarily because we were different. We were entrepreneurs, we were young, we were for-profit, we were integrating trading and clearing, we were an electronic trading platform, etc., etc. We were simply very different from the textbook exchange. Indeed, OMX was not taken fully seriously until the second half of 1990, when major exchanges such as Hong Kong, Amex, Borsa Italiana, and Australian Stock Exchange bought the OMX technology and became partners. Today, OMX operates 7 exchanges in the Nordic and Baltic region and partners with more than 60 exchanges around the globe, providing state-of-the-art exchange technology and know-how. In 2000, OMX made another first, making a bid for the London Stock Exchange in what Financial Times referred to as the most successful, unsuccessful bid ever. Today, Bors Dubai is the largest shareholder in the LSE Borsa Italiana group. The Bors Dubai Nasdaq OMX group opens a new chapter for OMX, as it does for Nasdaq and for Bors Dubai. As CEO of Bors Dubai, I'm thrilled by these new developments, and as a former CEO of OMX, I am simply moved by the turn of events, by the ever-changing nature of business. Global in nature and vision, Bors Dubai is also a local and regional player. Through its ownership of 2 very different, but also 2 very unique exchanges, the Dubai Financial Market and the Dubai International Financial Exchange, Bors Dubai brings a unique flavor to the newly formed group. As the CEO of also DIFX, I feel compelled to tell you that thousands and thousands of miles from here, in the middle of the desert, a first-class international exchange has become a reality. We have built an exchange that offers a unique setting for issuers and investors from across the planet. Indeed, it's only the exchange that acts as an interface between local, regional, and global liquidity. Our membership demographics is a testimony to that fact. As a grand beginning, our first exclusive primary listing was DP World, one of the world's largest port operators. Through a $5 billion IPO, which was oversubscribed 15 times, 55,000 retail subscribers, and more than 200 international institutions took part in the IPO, demonstrating the efficient and valuable infrastructure that we have built at DIFX. Soon, after the final stages of the Bors Dubai Nasdaq OMX transaction, DIFX will become Nasdaq DIFX. We see this as a natural progression and a solid value proposition that will transform the landscape of the exchange industry in our region. Through the DIFX, we bring the world to the region and the region to the world. Success and the much sought-after synergies will depend on an internal dialogue that will bridge continents, cultures, and civilizations. Indeed, we will have to show the world through a living example that globalization is here to stay, and that linking the world through our networks will have a positive impact on all stakeholders and shareholders. During the last 2 years, my affection and respect for Dubai has grown. The vision, courage, and leadership of Dubai is truly inspiring. From a more practical business and economic perspective, Dubai is also home to some very unique developments besides Bors Dubai. During the last couple of years, Dubai have achieved a GDP growth rate that have surpassed those of China and India. Today, Dubai's economy is well diversified, and oil constitutes less than 3% of GDP. A trading hub in its own right. Dubai have created a number of industry clusters in the form of free zones, inviting global players, stimulating local competition, and upgrading the knowledge base of the whole economy. One such free zone is the Dubai International Financial Center. Today, there are more than 550 registered companies within the center, including the biggest brands in the financial industry and leading law firms from around the world. The DIFC offers no taxation on corporate and personal income, at least for 50 years. It has no restriction on foreign ownership, and it allows free repatriation of profits. Moreover, the legal system within the free zone is English common law, and the free zone has the power to self-legislate in civil and commercial matters with its own independent courts. Indeed, that's a unique model that aims at offering the very best to Dubai, to the region, and to the world. Furthermore, the free zone is regulated by Dubai Financial Services Authority, the DFSA, which is a regulator of very high international standards comparable to SEC or the FSA in the UK. Within this unique legal and regulatory environment, the DIFC has also launched the region's leading corporate governance institute, HOCAMA, and the first institute of directors in the region, Modara. Focused on quality and excellence, the DIFC is growing at an impressive pace. All in all, I believe these achievements are a testimony of Dubai's global vision, goodwill, and determination to achieve the very best. Also listening to the point of view of the other, allowing a win-win-win solution to emerge out of a situation of potential rivalry is a trademark of Dubai. The world needs more win-win solutions. It needs more bridges, more connectivity and communication. It needs more openness and fairness. Bourse Dubai will always pursue the win-win solutions. It will always seek balance and fairness, staying open to the world. Allow me to end this speech by thanking you, the organizers, and all those who found myself and Bourse Dubai a deserving candidate. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our legal and financial advisors, many here tonight, who guided us through this very complex transaction that was completed successfully yesterday. I thank you all again on behalf of a fast-growing, creative and courageous city, and humbly accept the great honor that you bestowed upon me on this very special occasion. Thank you very much.
Per, thank you very much. We'll now, if you'll turn your attention to the screens at either end of the room, we're going to have a short video about Bourse Dubai. Per, congratulations to you and to Dubai and to Bourse Dubai for being financial innovators in the creation of new capital markets. Thank you very much for your great presentation. I'd like to now invite Everett Schenk, if he'd come up here to the podium. Everett is the CEO of BNP Paribas North America, and which was the recipient of the Corporate Social Responsibility Award last year. They were the recipient because when Katrina struck New Orleans and destroyed New Orleans, hundreds and hundreds of your employees went to New Orleans and helped to repair the city. So if you'd please present the award for this year, Everett.
Thank you very much. My assignment, thank you, Noel, is to introduce Frances Aldrich Sevilla Sacasa tonight. But in fact, Frances needs no introduction to the Foreign Policy Association, on whose board she serves. At last year's Financial Services dinner, she introduced Bill Priest, and she introduced President Michelle Bachelet of Chile at last year's fall dinner. For much of her nearly 3 decades of experience in financial services, she has played a leadership role in global wealth management, first at Bankers Trust, then Deutsche Bank, Citigroup, and currently as president of U.S. Trust, Bank of America Private Wealth Management. And that's a mouthful. Frances is an internationalist with a deep commitment to social responsibility. I would like Frances to join me and for the presentation of the FPA's Corporate Social Responsibility Award. And we also have a clip that we would like to share with you at this time. Frances, please.
We are more than 200,000 individuals, speaking dozens of languages, in scores of countries, and hundreds of cities, and thousands of offices. We have many titles and countless skills, but we share a single goal: creating opportunity. We are one bank built for many. Each new edition broadened our knowledge, deepened our expertise, and strengthened our ability to help our customers make those opportunities possible. We invented the ATM, and now offer the largest network anywhere. We introduced the first financial services computer system, and now process more checks than anyone in the U.S. We once went door to door explaining to working people what a bank could do for them, and now play a leading role in managing private wealth. We look for opportunities to serve. We helped rebuild Chicago after the Great Fire and San Francisco after the 1906 earthquake, and still build communities today, with associates donating millions of dollars and more than 500,000 hours to help those in need. We look for opportunity everywhere we go. That's why we expanded to the United Kingdom more than 75 years ago, and currently serve 80% of the global Fortune 500 from offices around the planet. We look for opportunity in everything we do, providing customers with innovations like Keep the Change, $0 online equity trades, Business 24/7, SafeSend, and a key role in the 2 largest leveraged buyouts in history. They are but a few of our achievements, and they are but a start. Opportunity. We find it, we nurture it, and where it does not exist, we help create it. It's who we've always been. It's what we'll always do. We are Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Thank you. It's now my privilege to present the Corporate Social Responsibility Award, and there is a citation that goes with this as well, so I'll read it quite carefully. The Foreign Policy Association is proud to recognize Frances Aldrich Sevilla Sacasa and Bank of America with its Corporate Social Responsibility Award. Frances is the human face on one of the largest financial services companies in the world. We recognize today her leadership and the service of Bank of America to the many communities around the world that it serves. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Everett, and thanks to all of you for being with us this evening. It's really a privilege for me to be here with all of you, and this time actually receiving an award on behalf of Bank of America instead of introducing someone up here. But I first want to congratulate Per Larsson for receiving the Global Financial Leader Award for the work he has done on behalf of the Dubai International Financial Exchange, and in particular, the initiatives he has put in place to help forge the globalization of capital markets. For me, it's a great honor to be here with all of you, representing Bank of America and all of my colleagues this evening, and to accept the Foreign Policy Association's Award for Good Corporate Citizenship. As president of U.S. Trust, Bank of America Private Wealth Management, not only is my name a very long name, but also the name of my organization is, but I have the great privilege of working for a company that has a very long history of serving diverse communities around the country, and also a deep commitment to helping our clients achieve their hopes and dreams, hence the Bank of Opportunity. Having been in financial services myself for 30 years and in private wealth management for the past 25 years, I've also had the opportunity of working with many individuals and families around the world who also have a deep sense of social responsibility and who are making a real difference to their communities and to the future of the world. And that is very inspiring, not only for me, but for my company, to be able to have clients of that nature as part of our organization. Now, I don't know if any one of you are aware that Bank of America actually invests more in our communities than any other financial institution in the world. And we are the second largest donor of all U.S. corporations in cash contributions. In 2005, we launched a 10-year campaign to donate a total of $1.5 billion to nonprofit organizations serving critical community needs across the country. And I'm proud to say that we are very well on our way to fulfilling that commitment. And like you, we also care deeply about the environment, and we are willing to back that up with deeds as well as words. Last year, we announced a $20 billion environmental initiative to encourage business activity addressing the pressing issue of climate change. In fact, and not too far from where we are this evening, we're building a 55-story office tower that will redefine how modern office buildings are constructed. This new Bank of America tower at Bryant Park will be the most energy and water-efficient tower constructed to date, featuring cutting-edge sustainable design and functionality. It will also feature the highest indoor air quality of any New York City office building, as well as countless other environmentally friendly technologies. But I'm proud to say that our commitment isn't just about money. Our commitment extends to all of our associates around the world. Our associates donate a great amount of time and energy to important causes. Last year, through something we call internally Team Bank of America, our associates contributed a record 675,000 volunteer hours to improve communities across our global footprint. As I travel around the country and visit our offices, I'm often asked by many of our clients and our associates, why does Bank of America do this? And the answer is really very straightforward. At Bank of America, we do this not only because it's absolutely the right thing to do, but because we're deeply committed to serving our customers and strengthening the communities in which we live and work. As one of the leading financial institutions in the world, we also feel that it's our responsibility to set a standard for others and to encourage other firms to also be good corporate citizens. This helps build more vibrant communities and a better environment from both an economic perspective and a quality of life perspective, and we all benefit from this. And so it's with great pleasure that I accept this award tonight from the Foreign Policy Association, an organization that shares many of the same values that we do at Bank of America, and has spent the better part of 90 years encouraging people around the world to get to know each other much better so that we may better understand how to live in peace. So once again, thank you very much, and I'm very privileged to accept this on behalf of Bank of America.
If we could have another round of applause and to thank Per and Frances and congratulate them and Bourse Dubai and Bank of America. And in closing, I'd like to thank the very dedicated small staff of the Foreign Policy Association for all the work that they have done during the year and in putting this dinner together. And most of all, I'd like to thank all of you for your contributions this evening, because the mission in this perilous world, in this complex world, the mission of the Foreign Policy Association is more important than ever. So good night and safe home, and thank you very much.